Assalamualaikum and Hazanya. Today I want to present about Axiata, but before that I want our group first. Groups consist of 5 people, which is me, Nuriman bin Abdul Rahman, and Muhammad Awas bin Syukur, Muhammad Zarul Amar bin Muhammad Zain, Muhammad Nawar Hakim bin Zakaria, and our leader is Muhammad Faidi Haziq bin Muhammad Fauzi. So this is the content in our slide. Okay, first we go to introduction first. Axiata Group Berhad is a Malaysian-based telecommunication company that manages the Axiata Groups. The group has a majority of 6 mobile phone providers under the brand names Celcom in Malaysia, SL in Indonesia, Dialog in Sri Lanka, Ruby in Bangladesh, Smart in Cambodia, and Ncell in Nepal. Axiata Group's product and service include prepaid and postpaid mobile service, broadcast and cable television service, internet service, business solution, digital marketing, and e-commerce service, mobile advertising, and machine-to-machine solution. Next, we go to the factor that affect marketing environment for Axiata Group. Number 1, we have environment factor. Climate change and global warming can affect how telecommunication products reach the customer. For example, when climate change occurs, this will be able to affect internet users, as our country has faced recently, such as several floods, and there are some communication tower affected, so the company has to cover the cost of the damage and repair. Meanwhile, customer miserable due to internet disruption. Number 2, we have technological factor. Both the needs and requirement of telecommunication service are advancing nowadays. For example, telco are now installing fiber optic cable in building over copper. Telephones are becoming more compact, and the telecommunication business is turning primarily into the wireless business. Now people want internet access on the go. This is how the data is added to the cellular charge. We can relate it with the change in 4G into 5G, something like that. These necessities lead to increased investment in companies that have a strong impact on the development of telecommunication for computer, smartphone, and laptop. Number 3, we have legal factor. The telecommunication industry is often impacted by legal issues, especially government, monopoly, and customer issue. However, the industry allows the import and export of telecommunication products, such as international smartphone, enable furthering development of telecommunication technology device. Most buyers use international smartphone as their device. With the issue of restriction on international smartphone into the country will affect the business of Axiata, which is a telecommunication company in Malaysia. This is because all international smartphones have been upgraded to 5G and 4G, and it has increased the interest of buyers to use it with the excuse to get a speed that is comparable to the offering of telecommunication companies today. Next, number 4, we have economical factor. Interest, inflation, and taxes all affected the telecommunication industry. The cost also affected the price offered to the customer. Building tower and resources in rural area is expensive. Customers who do not live in a big cities are affected. With this, the price charged for customers to use product or service from Axiata will make customers less comfortable and try to find other product and service according to their abilities. For example, the package offered for internet plans for Celcom and other telco have a price difference. Therefore, customers will decide to choose the cheaper one as they can only afford for the rate only. In addition, residents living in rural area are also affected due to the lack of telecommunication construction in their area, due to Axiata not being able to finance the construction cost due to the expensive construction cost factor. Next, we go to the factor that may affect consumer behavior for Axiata Group. Number 1, we have social factor. Family. The family play an important role in shaping a person purchasing behavior. Some people develop their childhood preference by watching their family buy product and continues to buy the same product as they grow up. So what this means is when our family use Celcom as their telco, we can find out whether it's beneficial or not to use them because they are the influence that can influence us. Next, reference group. A reference group is a group of people who connect with each other. In general, all people in reference group have a common purchasing behavior and influence each other. So for this description, it is broader than family because the meaning convenient is comprehensive. It can also be from family, friends, colleges, and other groups, and it can influence us as a buyer whether to use the product that has been used by them. Okay, next we go to the next presenter.
Second, personal factor. Firstly, income. Income has the ability to influence a person's purchasing behavior. The higher income the consumer, the greater purchasing power they have. For the low and middle income consumer, they spend more of their income on basic necessity only. If they do not take care of their income stream, there will be a bigger problem for the consumer. Second, occupation. Consumer profession influence purchasing behavior that suit their job. For example, teachers need to use the internet because they need to teach online or during the pandemic season, so the student can learn doing online class.
Okay, my name is Mohammed Rahman. Here we present about 15. The first one, the factor that may affect consumer behavior for Axiata Group. There are 4 factors. I will present about economic factor and other factor will be presented by other group members. Okay, the economic factor, there are 3 factors. The first one is personal income. As disposable income increase, so the spending on various items. However, as disposable income decline, spending on multiple items is reduced at the same time. So, if consumer income increase, then we get to buy more things. But if the income decrease, the consumer cannot buy more things at the same time. For example, like when pandemic happened, people start to spending less than as usual. Okay, the second one is family income. The higher family income, it means the people in the family to buy more. If the family income higher, there we get to buy more things. The last one is consumer credit. When there is higher credit available to consumer, the purchase of comfort and luxury items will increase. So if consumer credit higher, then we get to buy more luxury things. For example, like new phone. Okay, that's all. Let's go to the next.
Today I want to present about the factor that may affect consumer behavior for Axiata Group. I want to present about the psychological factor. First, attitude and belief. Consumers have certain attitude and belief that influence their purchasing decision. Based on this attitude, consumers behave in a particular way with respect to their product. Second, learning. When people buy a product, they learn more about it. Learning is done through a period of experience. For example, users who have used Axiata product know the failure and shortcomings of the product, which inspire user to continue or stop using it. Third and lastly, perception. Consumer perception is an important factor influencing consumer behavior. Customer perception is a process where a customer collects information about a product.
Okay, this is the second factor that I will present, the macro factor that may affect Axiata Group. Here there are three factors that may affect Axiata Group. The first one is operating environment. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, inflated supply shock on the cost and economy essential. So the unemployment has risen and the spending power of consumer and business has reduced. And in many markets, the government has regulated for telco to provide free data and bonus features to help the population with difficulty they face. For example, like when COVID-19 pandemic happened, students have to study online. So, government gives the free data to the students so they can study in online much better. In the next one is strategic implication. Many high-value business consumers have either easy operation or seeking regulation in service. Consumers are looking for more competitive price, package and value-add offer, given the economy uncertainty and difficulty in maintaining the pace of recovery. Axiata withdraw its guidance on airline KPI on 21 May 2020. Organ revenue due to free data and bonus features in Malaysia. So there are strategy that Axiata Group implement. So how is Axiata to way forward? The first one, Axiata maintain their strong balance sheet. Next, Axiata focus on conserving cash via disciplined cost management. The last one, Axiata address customer challenge by directing to their preference through the content with the whole. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Microenvironment factor Axiata Group. First of all, I will explain what is microenvironment. Microenvironment factor are local, affecting your company but not the rest of the world. For example, if they jack up of their price sharply or delay shipment, your marketing has to explain that to customer. In this slide, there are 5 factors I will talk about. Firstly, bargaining power of subscribe. The main bargaining power of supply imply anytime they can move to another company. So supplier can move to another company if they want. Next, bargaining power of supply. They have good quality material, information and low switching costs. Next, trade of new entrant. Trade newcomer into the market and try to get market share. It is also the start-up company to get the market share. Next, trade substitute product. Competitor provide same type of product. Next, competitive rivalry. War among the telecom industry for gaining customer share and to increase revenue and profit. That's all for me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I want to present about the factor that may affect consumer buying behavior for Axiata Group. First factor is need recognition. It's about the first stage of the buyer decision process in which the consumer recognize a problem or need. For example, Axiata is the biggest service internet provider. People now really need the internet for necessity so that they can use Axiata for their internet. The second factor is information source, where is the state of the buyer decision process in which the customer is aroused to search for more information may go to active information search. For example, Axiata have many websites and many information in the internet so that customer can search the information they want. And the third factor is evaluation of alternative, where is the stage of the buyer decision process in which the customer use information to evaluate alternative brand in choice set. For example, the customer of Axiata can choose wisely the product because of information given whether good or bad. Then the fourth factor is purchase decision, where is the buyer decision about which brand to purchase. For example, Axiata have give variety of choice of land data to customer so that they can choose wisely their data. And last factor is post-purchase behavior, where is the stage of the buyer decision process in which customer take further action after purchase based on their satisfaction. For example, Axiata will give new phone for their loyal customer that use the Axiata for a long time to appreciate their loyalty for Axiata. That's all for me. Thank you.
Now I will talk about conclusions. In the conclusions, Axiata Group Berhad is one of the biggest leading companies in the telecommunication sector in Asia. But there are still many risk factors that can influence the performance of the company. From the finding, the internal factors which can affect the profitability of the company are leverage risk and liquidity risk, while the external factor that brings a significant effect to the performance of the company is the exchange rate. Besides that, we can see that there is a negative relationship between the size of the company and the performance of the company. This shows that the company didn't perform well in using its assets. However, the most significant variable that affects the performance of Axiata Group is leverage risk, which has the highest p-value compared with other variables. Therefore, the company suggests putting the priority on overcoming the leverage rates. To reduce the risks that faced by the company recently, some method is suggested, such as billing the customer immediately, setting up the risk management committee, public offering the shares, debt to equity swap, natural hedging, and transactional hedging. Now we move to recommendation. As the word changed around them, customers have developed certain expectations of telco brands and how they provide for their customers. Listen to customers and add on feedback. Take a service customer who disconnect their service to identify the root cause of their complaints. Listening to what the customers are not unhappy about so they can improve their service for management. Number 2, provide more human interactions. Of course, following the digital trend is a must, but that doesn't mean the human factor should be left out. For example, T-Mobile has sacrificed IVR and other automated customer service technologies, instead focusing on the human touch approach. Thank you.